Hello everybody, welcome back to the Angular Tutorial series. In the last session, we learned about routing, basics of routing in Angular. Today we are going to learn about activated route and passing parameters in RouterLink. For learning activated route and the parameters, first and foremost, what we have to do is we have to create a product interface. So for creating the interface, we will be writing the command as ng generate interface, that is I, and I give the name as product. So this will create an interface with the name as product. Now we can observe that there is already a default tag name as export over here. So export interface and product. So once that thing is exported, that can be accessed inside any component or service that can be used for writing the data and receiving and saving the data. So over here, what we will be doing is we will be defining the product interface. So for that, I will be doing as product ID. We define it as number. Second, we'll be needing as product name, and that will be giving us string. Third thing we want to save, that is product price, and for that price we give the variable as price and we give it number. So over here, first and foremost, what we did was we are defining the product interface. Now after defining the product interface, what we will be doing is we will be defining a service which is new. Service is something which is used for calling HTTP request to the database, but over here we are not having the database, but still we will be needing that service because we want to access this product in two places, that is in product dot component and in product details component. So there should be a common place where the product interface gets initialized, as well as searching is possible inside this product interface values. So for that we will be creating a new service. So for creating service, we will be writing the command as ng generate service, that is S, and I give a name as product service. Now you can define the services and the interface inside another folder, but for quick tutorial I am just putting it outside the entire folder, that is in source, and you can observe that when you press enter, you create a service. Now the service has been created. Now after creating the service, what we have to do is we have to initiate the interface which we defined right now. So for initializing the interface, what we will be doing is we will be creating an object of that interface over here. So for creating the object, what we will be doing is we define an object, that is product. So we can say products colon, the type should be product interface which we defined right now. So that is product. We want to save multiple values, so we define it as an array and initialize it blank. So what we did was we just created an array of the type product interface and named it with a same name but initial small, that is product. Now what we will be doing is we will be defining two functions over here, two functions for getting the products. First all products and second product by ID. So for that we define a function over here, that is get products. Now we have to set the value to this particular product. So I said this dot products, define the name as products because it should be multiple. So products equals to, it is an array, so we define it this way. Now you can do it new over here, but it is an interface. So for adding values to interface, what we can do is we can give it in curly braces. In that curly braces, you can specify the value for the product. It is showing you a sample over here, IntelliSense, ID, name and price. But our names are product ID. So I say product ID 1, then comma, the second name will be product name. So product name will be giving the name of the product. Supposingly I say shoes. Third is product price. So we define the price as 1500. Second value we want to give it over here. So for giving the second values, we copy and paste. We change the names. So if I say shirts, third value, I change the price. I can give another product and give it a value. So up till now what we did was we defined an interface, we created the service, and after creating the service we created a function inside it which says get product. Now the product array has been initialized over here. Still this won't do anything. First and foremost we have to return that thing. So for return we just give the statement as return and we return the entire products array. So whenever this function will be called, you will get the products array. Now next function which we want is get products by ID. So I defined a function as get product by ID. So this should bring one product when an ID is passed. So supposingly if I pass an ID as 2, then the product 2 should be appearing. When I pass 3, the details of the 3 should be getting. So for that we will be writing over here to get that particular product value. We just give a statement as return. Now over here what we want is we want to return a single value from this. We have an array already defined over here. We will be using a new thing over here which is known as spread operator. Spread operator is an ES6 function which allows you to copy an entire array. So when you just define dot dot dot, it is known as spread operator. I say spread operator this dot products, and from that products I want to find a particular value. So there is a function name as find on an array. So find, we define an object p dot product ID, and we compare it with the ID which you are having over here in the parameter. So we define a parameter over here and that parameter should be passed over here. So over here you can pass that parameter and I defined as ID over here. So when this function will be called and ID will be passed, it will search inside this product on the basis of ID and return me the particular single product. So now we have defined the service and the product class, that is interface. Now we have to implement that inside your product component. Right now the product component is blank. We want the array to be displayed over here. So for that what we will be doing is, first and foremost, a new thing in your component which we haven't done till now. What we will be doing is we will be implementing on init. On init is an event which is fired when the component initializes. So for that we have to implement the interface on init, and it is asking you to implement that method. So when I say quick action and implement the interface, so that method has been already created. Now after creating that method, we remove the default things. So the method is ng on init. We create a constructor over here also. Now this constructor will be calling and creating an object of that service. So we will be creating an object of this service and we will be accessing these two functions. So for that, in the constructor we define a method as private, and private method or private object, that is pro service. I give it a name as pro service and the type should be product service. So over here I take product service and I just press enter. When you press enter, your product service is imported over here. So now you created an object pro service of this. Now in init, what we can do is we can call this function from here. So that is, I'll be doing is this dot, okay. Before doing that, what we'll be doing is we will be creating an array of that particular object, or we can create an object of that product, because I need an arrow over here also. One arrow was defined in the service, but to access this array, I need the same type of array over here also. So I defined products, and the type should be product. So that is defined as product, and we initialize it blank as we did before. Product is giving an error. This is because it is not imported. So what we have to do is, when you type product, just press enter. So when you press enter, the class will be imported directly. Over here we define an array equals to blank. So this is defined over here. Now what we have to do is we have to initialize this product variable inside your ng init. So inside that, I say this dot product equals to this dot service object dot get products. So by doing this, what we have done is we have taken the objects and variables from this get products, whatever we get, and we saved it into the product array. We define it as products because it will be confusing. So we define it as products. After that, we have to do it in HTML. So inside your HTML, what you have to do is you have to create a table, because there will be many products. So to display that many products, what we will be doing is we will be creating a table over here, HTML table. So we define a table, and we can use the bootstrap classes. Bootstrap class for the table is table, and we can say table stripped. And inside that table, we will be creating the headers first. So in the T head, we can define TH. From TH, we will be getting all the things. So I guess product ID, three things we have to define. We define it quickly. Product ID, copy it, paste it. Product name and product price. Three things. So that is defined over here. For the actual data, we will be needing T body. So we define as T body. Inside T body, we define TR. Now this portion should be dynamic from that particular array which we defined over here. So to get an array, what we will be doing is we will be defining TR, but there should be something that this TR should be running for three times in the sense you are having three products. So this should run three times. So there should be a for loop over here. So there is a directive ng for inside your Angular. So we define ng for, ng and f is capital. Remember that. Let, we define a variable pro of the array, that is products. So this statement works this way: let a single product pro from products, that is multiple products. So this loop will run until you find values in the products array. So this is defined over here. Now after that, we define td. Inside td, we will be giving all the values. So that value can be reflected from pro dot, you get a pop-up here. Everything is perfect, you will get a pop-up. You won't get it if everything is not perfect. So for that, I just copy paste again, and I change the values, that is product name and that is price. So this three is defined. Now if it is all okay, you should be able to see the products, and yes, it is okay, you see all the products over here. So we created a service, we created an interface, we initialized the interface in the service, and we called that service inside your product component. Now comes actual thing about the routing. Now for routing, what we want to implement is when a person clicks on a detail link which will be defined over here. We define one more th over here, and we can say actions. What we want to do is we want to be able to have a link over here, and once when that link is clicked, it should pass the product ID. So first and foremost, let's create a link over here. How to create that particular link which will pass that value? So for that we do ahref and the links, sorry, a, and then we have to give router link because we are using routing. So say router link, and in that router link what we want to do is we want to pass a particular product ID, and the path should be product details, and it should pass the product ID. So it is actually written by IntelliSense, and over here we pass the product ID, and on screen what we want to type is we want to give as product details. So now as you observe the page, you will get hyperlinks over here. Now you can observe that when it is clicked, it is not doing anything because we haven't created any product detail component or we haven't specified the path over here. But you can observe over here at the bottom, you can say that when I click on 3, it is passing as product details /3, product details /2, product details /1. You just observe it over here and we can implement it again. So this is a link is created. So your URL would be something as product details /1234. So what we want to achieve through activated route is we want to achieve this particular value. To receive this value, we will be needing something known as activated route. That cannot be done by a normal routing procedure. So for that, first and foremost, we will be creating a component named as product details. So we generate the component nggc and product details, and I press enter. So your product details component is now created. Now as we want to access the service again in your product details component, the same thing has to be done which is done in your products. So for that we go inside the product detail component ts file. In that ts file what we will be doing is we will be creating an object of that particular service. Before that we implement here also on init. Then we implement the method also. So that method is implemented. Just right click and it will show you an option. So this is implemented. After that, what we will be doing is we will be creating a constructor as we did over there. Constructor, and the parameter of the constructor first and foremost should be that service. So for that service, what we do is private. I again give the name is pro service, and the type should be product service. So we import it and it is getting imported over here. Now one thing extra would be done over here, that is you will be defining one activated route object. Now that has to be defined over here in the constructor. We define the name as route. You can give any name, that is just a variable route, and it should be activated route. You get it from the pop-up, press enter, it is imported from Angular router. Now that is activated route, but we have to define it as private over here. That is for this particular class only. So this is activated route defined. So we define two objects over here. One is service object, second is your activated route object. Now after that what we want to do is we want to call that particular function which should be calling the detail of that particular ID which is passed. But before that what we will be doing is we will be defining the route inside your routing module file, because if you don't add it inside your routing module file, then you won't be able to get the URL. So for that we come here, we define as path, and inside that path what we can do is we define as product details and over here we define an ID over here. After that we will be calling as component, what component you need. So that component is done over here, and we defined it as product details component. So the path which is defined over here is product details slash id. So that slash id will be dynamic, which is passed from that hyperlink.
Now after implementing this, you can see that when you click on the browser, you should be able to navigate. Now you are navigating through the product detail component with the id which is being passed in the top portion. Now what we have to do is we have to fetch that particular id inside the product details component and get the details of that product to view. So we go in the product details component. We already made that service object over here, and after creating that service object, the same thing which we have to do is we have to create an object of product over here first and foremost. So that is the interface. So we defined as prod. The type should be product. So define the type equals to product. We give it as blank. We initialize it again the same way, blank. We define three more variables over here. So that is product name. We'll explain you how and why we need this. Product price and product ID. We define it any. We haven't given any initialization to it. Now in it what we want to do is we want to call the service and get the product detail whichever ID has been passed over here. So for that your activated route is already defined. So what we do over here is we say the object is this dot route, that is your object of activated route. Then you say params map. Now what is params map? Params map is something as whichever parameters are passed in your browser, that is mapping of that parameters 1 2 3 4 whatever, and that params map will allow you to get that particular value. So for that you have to subscribe over here. You click on subscribe. You pass your own variables. This can be any. We are giving params over here, params, and then we specify a ES6 short function. Okay. So in this ES6 function, what we can do is we can get the value from this params. So first and foremost, what we are going to do is we are going to console that thing. Console.log, and I can print that particular thing, that is params.get, and the variable is id. Now this id comes from your routing module. Inside routing module we have specified as an id. So over here we have to specify id. So once we do this, you go in products and click on product detail, and I inspect, and inside your console you should be able to see the id. So you can see the id over here. Once you click on third product, it gives 3. So you successfully got the id over here. Now from that id what we want to do is we want to get the details, that is details of price, product, and this. So for that I have defined these 3 variables. So for setting this individual variables, I say this dot product id equals to this dot this dot product service dot, the method is get product by id, and inside that I have to pass that product id. So for before doing this I just set that value. You can set the product id over here before passing it. So for that I just define the product id over here, that is this dot product id equals to, we are getting the product id over here, so we take it from here, copy and paste. So this is done over here, and in get product id we can pass that this dot product ID. So whichever product ID has been set, it has been passed, and again I specify product ID over here. So what we did is we took the parameter, we set it inside this, and we again set that particular value over here from the array itself. Same thing has to be done. So that is this dot product name equals to this dot pro service dot get products by ID. I define this dot product ID, which is already achieved. Then we can say product name. In the third value also, we can set it over here, and that should be price. And over here we can define as this dot price, this dot product price, because I have defined the variable as product price over here. So we define all the variables over here. So now you are having product ID, product name, and product price of that particular ID which is being passed over here. So we want to create the HTML now. Inside HTML we are using card, which is again a bootstrap thing. So dot card dash header, and dot card dash body. In card header I want to set the product name, so I get the variable over here. In card body I want to say price, so I get the product price variable here. I define a text product name over here, product price, and once you save it, you go back to products, click, you get the values. So this is how you get the details of the product on basis of activated route which we implemented inside your product service and your product details component. So this is complete tutorial on your routing. In the first tutorial we learned about basic routing. In this we learned about activated route. Keep practicing, and for more tutorials on IT subjects, please subscribe our channel and stay updated. Thank you.